What's going on, guys? It's Alex. Welcome to another episode of the Long 2 NBA podcast. This is episode number 48 with my co-host Seth.
Hello.
I finally got through the intro that time. Took 4 tries. But yeah, sorry it's been so long. You know how the off season is. Very slow for news to come up, and when it does, it's rare. So
Get this man some basketball.
Yeah, for real. Like I'm Rob Perez. That's what everybody always tweets in his replies after he tweets something in the off season. They're like, please get this man basketball. That's exactly how I feel. But school is starting for all of us, so episodes are going to be kind of whenever we have time and whenever there's topics. I mean, we're all busy with stuff, you know.
Right. It'll pick up once the season picks up.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Nathan,
obviously right now it's been kind of slow. I mean, things are happening obviously, otherwise we wouldn't have tried to make an episode. But
yeah, we got stuff to talk about today. But Nathan's not going to be available as much because he's going to college out of town, like far from town actually, and you know he's busy with all that. So whenever he's on the episode, it's going to be a treat. or rarity, right? Yeah, special guest Nate. So it's going to be just me and Seth for the most part, moving forward for a little while at least. But again, sorry it's been so long, but we got stuff today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So unfortunate news coming out of Los Angeles. DeMarcus Cousins tore his ACL while he was working out, which is just so unfortunate. This is his third major injury in less than 2 years, I think, or maybe 2.5 year span. First, it started with the ruptured Achilles, randomly came out of nowhere when he was playing with New Orleans in 2017, I believe, or was it the first half of 17-18? Something like that. And then he ruptured his quad in the playoffs this past season. And now it's the torn ACL, not even 2 months later. So, what was your initial reaction to this, and what are your thoughts on it now for both him and the Lakers? Like, what it means for the Lakers and for him?
You know, I wasn't surprised, honestly, because it seems
sucks to
be,
say that.
Right. It's not like it's under his control. I mean,
right.
He's just. It seems he's kind of got D-Rose syndrome where you can't catch a break and you keep getting these injuries. You know, the health of the body just doesn't seem to hold up to NBA play. And even like he tore it in a workout. Yeah,
he was working out, and I guess it was like a knee collision or something that tore it, which is weird because most of the time it's from a fall, like an awkward landing.
Right.
Like an awkward fall, but from what there's not many details about it, but from what was reported, apparently it was knee-to-knee contact with somebody else, like another player or something, I guess. I don't really know. Nothing has really come out too much about it, and nobody can reach him, so it's not like he can tell the story because he's all bent out of shape, rightfully so. But like you said, the D-Rose syndrome, it's like his body is giving up on him before his mind is ready to give up on basketball. And
his body's saying, "Hey, dude, retired."
I hate to say it.
Prime.
Exactly, I hate to say it, but this might be it. Like, he's not gonna ever be the same player he once was, just because his body's not allowing him to. Like, it would be one thing if he was able to stay healthy and then work his way back to being in shape and what he once was. But after suffering not only 2 catastrophic injuries in a 2.5 year span, but the one little one in his quad, it's just like his legs are obviously not able to withstand the NBA game at this point. Like,
and that's what it seems like.
And it just sucks because he's not gonna ever be DeMarcus Boogie Cousins ever again.
Right, and it hurts more knowing that all of that talent was used mostly during those Kings days where.
Where they weren't doing anything. Like he never got to the playoffs with the Kings, but that was when he was at his best. And he started to be like at a new level in that first half of the season with New Orleans before he got hurt. I believe he was averaging like 25 and 12 or something like that.
Yeah, he was putting up great numbers.
Yeah, he was shooting well too. And unfortunately, that was the last we ever really saw of his best. And I don't think we'll ever see it again, which is sad to say. Because even if he does fully recover from this and he plays again, I would be so cautious with he's not even going to get the playing time. that
Right.
he
Coaches are
would
gonna
have
be
otherwise
afraid to put him
gotten.
out there for
Exactly. So because
however
there's
many
going to be
minutes.
injury concern again, and I also feel bad for him too in this regard because he's lost, hundreds of millions of dollars potentially.
But yeah, taking the absolute minimums.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, Warriors are overpowered because of Boogie." Like, it didn't work out that way at all.
Yeah,
And,
no.
now the perception and
Yeah.
reality of it is so much different.
Yeah, because he got, man, it's just crazy how unbelievably unlucky this stretch has been for him. Like, what are the odds that you suffer this many big injuries, and like two of them are like ones that really alter careers? So I don't know, man. It's sad. I think he's the only NBA player to ever suffer both.
No, yeah, I saw something like that.
I think I read something like that. Yeah.
What he tore both Achilles and ACL is like the only player to ever.
To only rupture his Achilles and tear his ACL. Yeah, he's obviously the only one to ever do it in this short of a time period that I can think of. Like, yeah, I don't think that's ever happened before. Like, two such big injuries and seemingly back to back. It's
Right.
just sad, man. It really is.
But just ending that topic. Prayers up for Boogie.
Yeah.
I really hope to see him at least, to see glimpses of what he's capable of, because he was such a huge talent.
I hope so.
Obviously, he's a abrasive person, but he's
Yeah.
a great basketball player.
Yeah, for sure. And I hope to see the same thing. It's just I don't think NBA teams are going to want to take the risk anymore, because after seeing what's happened, and they're all thinking the same thing we're thinking about his body giving up on him, and then he's not going to get the playing time, I don't think either. Right. So it might be time to hang him up, but obviously you hope for the best for him. Let's just transition now into our other Lakers-related Boogie replacement type thing. So Boogie was obviously the X factor for the Lakers, because if he had been able to return to form, that would have given them a new dimension to their big three / big four or whatever. Because if he had returned to form, that would have made them that much better. But honestly, I don't think that given the injuries, forget about the ACL for a second, him coming back, he wouldn't have been playing a whole lot of minutes anyways, so I don't think his production that he might have been able to do isn't unreplaceable. Like, I think their roster is decent enough to be able to make up for it regardless.
Right.
But they're also trying to replace him with Dwight Howard and Joakim Noah and Mo Spates. So which of those three guys do you think would be the best? We know the history with Dwight in the Lakers. We know the history of Joakim Noah and LeBron. And Mo Spates seems like the most drama-free, can fit like a glove. We haven't seen him, though, really, since his Golden State days. I mean, he played for the Clippers for a little while, but, he was at his best when he was with Golden State. So which of those guys do you think would be the best fit for the Lakers?
Well, Dwight is kind of the same with this injury-prone type of talk that
can't stay healthy.
About with DeMarcus
and he's old.
And he's old. But, he's getting older.
Yeah, but none of these picks are really great.
Of course not. They're left because
this is what they're left with.
Their first idea was DeMarcus, and then they're like, okay, well, now what do we do?
Yeah.
It's like then 80's like, damn it, I gotta play the 5.
Right. I mean, it's a shame. It's not like he's 6'10" or something and wouldn't be able to play the 5, right? Jeez. I don't know. They've got some things to work out, but Dwight Howard is obviously the most skilled, I guess. Neither him or Joakim Noah can shoot worth a damn.
Absolutely not.
So,
at least Dwight Howard's jump shot doesn't look like whatever Joakim Noah is. That's something.
Yeah, I mean, JaVale McGee honestly would be better than this. I mean, there were times with Golden State. Obviously, it's a completely different situation for him with the Lakers, but there were times in Golden State where they played through him, and he just couldn't be stopped. Do you remember in that?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember against the Spurs?
JaVale McGee is a great player, and I feel like it's taken him a while to mature a little bit, but he has such length, right?
Yeah.
He is able to just dunk through and post moves. very good at what he does.
Yeah.
Every season he seems to get better.
Yeah, and I think at this point he's better than Joakim Noah and Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard has fallen off a cliff over the past 4 or 5 years.
What was that one thing where they talked about, like, they were in a locker room, he took his shirt off and they saw his spine? It was just like super sideline.
Yeah, I read that too. They I think it was Lamar Odom saying if you had seen the piece of skin or back whatever that they took out of his back during that back surgery when he played for the Lakers, like, everybody would take back everything they said about him. But apparently, like, he's got a really ugly scar, I guess. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. The injury stuff with him and the butt issue last year, like, these guys just I wish there was better options for the Lakers, but there's not. Right. Unless they trade for somebody.
They have. And the thing is, they have a great team, but for what they've got to deal with not having the strongest center available.
Right, and that's fine. When you got guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, that's going to cover up a lot of problems that would otherwise exist if you didn't have one of those guys. Right. So it's really not that big of a deal, but you obviously want the best roster.
Right, and if you have someone like a Howard or Spates or Noah, like, AD can probably come over for help defense in a lot of these situations and make defensive plays.
Yeah, we'll see who they end up signing. I mean, I've seen outrage from Lakers fans about Dwight Howard and you remember Joakim Noah calling Cleveland a shithole or whatever he called it.
Yeah.
Or so there's obviously that history with him and LeBron. I don't know. There's not really any fantastic
there was a lot of history with Rondo and Lance Stevenson. I feel like LeBron
and Rondo and LeBron for that matter. You remember the LeBron is a bitch shirt that Rondo wore when he played for the Celtics?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, it seems like.
But yeah, that's all water under the bridge now, especially once you become teammates. So it'll be interesting to see what they go with here. I kind of hope it's Dwight Howard just for the reaction from the internet.
Oh yeah,
it's already been a lot just because of the rumors, and apparently the workouts that the Lakers held for these guys went pretty well. Like the impression they left was that they could be helpful, is what Woj tweeted. So it'll definitely be interesting. But the little evil troll in me wants it to be Dwight Howard so that we can just reminisce about his time previously spent there and how horribly wrong it went, and just for the meme of it and to see the Lakers fans' reaction to it, that would just be the best part of it for me. But let's move on here unless you got anything else.
No, I'm good.
All right, so CJ McCollum and Draymond Green both got $100 million extensions. CJ obviously for the Blazers and Draymond for the Warriors. To me, both of these kings are worth the bag.
Oh yeah.
We know what Draymond has meant to the Warriors defensively, and being able to play make and just be an all-around great player for them.
Like if people still have this idea that Draymond is like, I mean, sometimes he can be a clown, but like you said with JaVale McGee, like sometimes they run through Draymond and he can be like a forward and just dish out crazy good passes.
Exactly. He doesn't necessarily put up like the gaudiest numbers or whatever, but his impact is far more than what his stats show sometimes. But he also has those big games where he'll score 20 plus and give you a bunch of blocks and assists and stuff. So and
he is such an important leader.
Like, for sure.
I love seeing that clip of when he was talking to Jordan Bell when he missed that dunk.
Yeah, he was like, he missed a shot. Yeah. Yeah, that was great leadership, and he's had a lot of those moments, But I don't know if anybody else besides the Warriors would have given him $100 million. Probably something close to it, like more like an $80 million contract or 90. But because of what he means to the Warriors and what he's meant for their championships and all that over the past since he's been there, coming up with Steph and Clay, obviously he's such an integral part of their team that they were going to give him that money. And it shows their commitment to him, which is great because obviously he's going to continue to be an important piece for them for years and years, until they're out of their prime or whatever. So But do not underestimate the Warriors. I'm not telling you. I'm just saying, like, in general. The Warriors can probably, like, they could still make it to the Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. I mean, I
think they still have a championship team. I think
I think yeah, they definitely still have a championship team, but it's going to be hard to get past the Clippers, I think, for anybody. It's going to be hard to get past anybody. There's all good teams in the West, pretty much. But you got anything else on Draymond?
No, just happy he got his bag, and
he deserved it 100%. For sure. So CJ McCollum has continued to get better every single year. In the playoffs last year, he was a machine along with Damian Lillard.
He proved it that
playoff. For sure. And they lined up his extension with Dame's current deal. So that's obviously their backcourt for the next, I guess, 5 years or so, 6 years. And they're going to be really good for a long time to come. I mean, they proved that last year, and they're starting to get more into the spotlight. I mean, this year they have like 30-something national TV games as opposed to half that in years past. So they're starting to get the recognition they deserve, which I like. And they're going to be one of the best backcourts for the next however long. So I don't really have anything else on that. I mean, these are kind of old news, so it's not like we're reacting to it right now. I mean, but definitely both deserved. Last thing. Vince Carter decided to return to the Hawks for his final season. He's retiring after the 2020 season. He'll be the first player in NBA history to play in 4 decades. He's twice as old as Trae Young. He's older than Trae Young's dad, actually. But what Vince has meant to the Hawks, like him deciding to come back there instead of going to ring chase or do whatever else, obviously says a lot about what he's meant, and what he's meant to them in terms of being that veteran leadership for Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, John Collins, and now incoming rookies DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish are going to be able to learn from him too, especially because this is a young team that's going to be starting to learn how to win games next year and try to compete for one of those 7 or 8 spots in the East. So that's huge for them. And I think he enjoys it, obviously. He wouldn't have come back, I don't think, unless he enjoyed, being that mentor and leader for the young guys. But what do you think about that?
Hey, you still there?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, something got cut off. Sorry
okay. Well, what are your thoughts on Vince Carter going back to the Hawks?
I'm super happy about it. I love seeing him play, and honestly, he can give you a decent 12-3 on a good night.
For sure.
His jumper's still wet. He can still get up there.
Yeah, it's not like he's not going to play either. Like he's going to play minutes.
Right.
On top of being a leader.
Obviously, we've got some great new players, and we want to run them some minutes.
Yeah, for sure. He's not going to play 20 minutes a night. He'll probably get 12, 15.
Right. If anything, though, it worked him last season.
Oh man,
the roster was so lacking.
Yeah, I remember he played 40-something minutes in that 4 overtime game against the Bulls.
Give that man some oxygen. What the hell?
Dude, that was a hell of a game, man. I'll never forget that because I was there in person. Oh man, that was crazy. But yeah, did you hear what I said about what he means in terms of veteran presence and leadership? Yeah, for the young guys. Yeah, so. It's gonna be huge for them, and I'm happy he came back too because it's his final season. We get to see it up close because we're obviously Hawks fans, and we live in the state near the city. So I'm excited. I'm just excited for Hawks basketball next season in general. I mean, they're gonna be nice, and we'll talk about them more later. Actually, I guess now because we'll get to the over-unders for every team, and obviously we'll talk about each one. And then before we get to that, though, let's just talk about the NBA schedule real quick. So we figured out what the opening night games are and what the Christmas schedule is. And pretty much all the teams you would expect to have national TV games have upwards of 20-ish because they really had to divvy it out this year. But still, teams like the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors, they still have close to 40-ish or a little bit over. But most of the teams you would expect to have national TV games have them. I mentioned the Blazers earlier. They have 30-something this year. Like, the Jazz have 20-something. Sixers have 30-something. Celtics, Lakers, Clippers, all of them. Warriors, all the teams you would expect. Celtics, they all have those games.
Clippers and all.
Yeah, they low-key disrespected the Nets by only giving them like 20-something. Because I want to watch Kyrie Irving. I still can illegally. I didn't say that. But I want to watch him on national TV. And they didn't give the Raptors that many. The Raptors have like 20-something.
R.I.P. Reddit NBA stream.
Yeah, I hope there's an alternate. The Spurs did not get that many at all. The Bucks got a lot, like 30, 40-something. The Thunder obviously dropped off. They don't have many. The Rockets have a lot. But like I said, every team you'd expect to have a lot. I didn't expect the Blazers to have as many as they did, though, just because they've been so low-key the past couple of years. But they're starting to they have gotten the, respect that they deserve now, which is cool. But opening night is New Orleans Pelicans and Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are going to get their rings. Okay, here's my problem here. The Pelicans have 30-something national TV games. That is way too many.
It's just the Zion hype.
I know it is, and I understand it. But like, could we at least just see, they're banking on him being that generational talent, which everyone knows he's probably going to end up being. But it's going to take, a long time. Not a long time, but it's going to take some time. It's going to be a while before they're, a championship contending high playoff seed level team like these other teams that are getting 30, 40 national TV games. Like, it's a little excessive for season one, I think, but they're going to be a fun, exciting team to watch, so I'm not too mad at it. But it's just like
any game that Zion is in is must-watch TV, and the NBA knows that, so they just loaded them up in national.
True, but I think
you might not like it. I don't particularly like it either, but it makes revenue.
If they had gotten 10 or 15, that's fine. But 30, I think 15 of those games could have gone to having more games for the Kings. They only have one national TV game, and they're a young, upcoming, fun team to watch. So I think the Kings, the Hawks only got 9. They could have gotten more. I think the Kings had the ultimate disrespect. Some teams deserved more national TV games than they have. So, and I think if they had taken away, distributed it a little more fairly by not giving the Pelicans 30, it would have been a little more fair, in my opinion. But, it is what it is. Can't complain too much. Basketball's coming in about 2 months, so plus preseason, so a little earlier than that, but the vibes.
You already know the vibes.
Let's talk about the Christmas Day game real quick.
Okay.
Christmas Day games. The other opening night game is Clippers and Lakers. Hopefully everybody's healthy for that. But let me go to Christmas real quick on this handy-dandy NBA app. So we got Celtics and Raptors, Bucks and Sixers, Rockets and Warriors, Clippers and Lakers, Pelicans and Nuggets. I like all of these games. I'm not mad at this whatsoever. The only one, again, the Pelicans get a Christmas game. That could have gone to a team like Utah. I would have rather seen Jazz and Nuggets play than Pelicans and Nuggets. But, again.
Me too, but I don't think everyone else will agree with us, man.
I know. It's just because it's becoming more of a casual sport. Or it's becoming more mainstream, basketball is. So you want to give people what they want to see, which is fine. I get it. But, hoop heads, they would agree with us. You know how it is.
Yeah.
But, can't be too mad at it. They're going to be fun to watch, so we'll see. Did you see that they kind of made start times for games a little earlier some nights? They're going to be starting at 7:30 and
just for us brothers on the East Coast.
Yeah, for us heathens that live on the East Side. We're going to be able to not have to stay up till 1 o'clock every night watching the late games. We get to stay up till 12:30 instead. Woohoo!
I can't tell you how many times I was just in a lazy boy recliner and I just woke up at 4 a.m. because I was watching one of those games. Oh god!
Really? Oh my goodness!
What year is it?
That's hilarious. I stay up late and watch the games anyway. I go to bed late as it is. 1:30, 2 o'clock most nights anyway. So it didn't bother me much. It's just it's nicer that they start a little bit earlier this time around because I won't have to be up too late. But even then, I don't mind being up late. That's just how I am. But not having to wait until 8 o'clock, like just that subtle difference, like 7:30 as opposed to 8 o'clock, having to wait for the games to even start, is nice because it just mentally it feels like it's much sooner. I don't know why. Like, because I remember there were times last year I was sitting around twiddling my thumbs waiting for the games to start at like 7 o'clock. It's like, all right, I'm bored. I need ball. Pause. So let's move on to over-unders unless you got anything else.
No, I'm good.
All right. So we'll just go down this list from. Do you want to start from the top or the bottom? Let's start from the bottom to make things a little more interesting.
Start from the middle. No,
Let's go from the bottom and build up, so that way we get to the more interesting stuff. The longer this goes. So we're gonna be talking about the over/unders and whether we think these teams are gonna. This is according to Caesars, by the way. So whether we think these teams are gonna win more or less games than what they predicted. So Hornets are set at 24. I think that might be being nice. I'm gonna go under here and say about 15 to 20.
Yeah, Hornets are going to be so ass unless Terry Rozier turns into a god-tier point guard.
Right. And he did so well in the 2018 playoffs, so I know he has it in him. It's just the rest of the roster is so uninteresting aside from like Mikal Bridges. Or I'm sorry, Miles Bridges. Which one is it? Miles Bridges.
It's Miles Bridges.
Okay, yeah. Mikal Bridges plays for Phoenix, right? Somewhere.
Something like that.
Anyway, Miles Bridges is explosive. Yeah, exactly. And then there's like Cody Zeller and like Chandler. No, who even plays there now? Nick Batum. Like it's so uninteresting.
Terrible contracts here and there.
Yeah, it's bad. Chandler Parsons plays for the Hawks. He used to play for who'd he play for before he got traded? I don't know. He's been bouncing around, but whatever. Neither here nor there. Cavaliers are set at 24. I think I think that's right on.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Maybe a little bit over. I'm excited to watch Darius Garland though, because he plays like Damian Lillard. He said his favorite player is Dame Lillard. Damian Lillard's my favorite player, so if he can play like him, obviously I'm gonna be a fan of his. But I'm also intrigued by Colin Sexton, and Kevin Love is probably going to get traded at some point. He doesn't need to be playing there. He needs to be playing for a playoff team.
He does.
So we'll see. He's probably going to be gone before the season starts, or sometime midway through.
Right. He hasn't even been working out. He's just been living it up this summer, traveling everywhere.
Yeah.
He was
Plus,
like, you know what? I ain't competing really, so I'm just gonna travel the world.
I'm sure he's been working out. He just doesn't post it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. But he was also injured last season. There was also no reason for him to rush back and play. So we'll see what happens there. But I think that's probably about right. 24. I know you had thoughts on this. The Grizzlies are set at 25.5. Over or under?
That's way over. I mean, I know some people think it's like, John Morant won't boost them that much, but like they still have Jaren Jackson Jr. and like they seem to be on the up.
Yeah,
they
drafted Brandon Clark.
Right. It'll be a fun young team to watch. I think
for sure.
It's going to be a lot like the Hawks were last season.
Yeah, where they kind of surprise people.
There's going to be some growing pains, but overall they will.
But towards the back end of the season, they're going to be playing really good, fun basketball. That was like what the Hawks did last year, like you said.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say they might, but again, they're in this loaded Western Conference, so I might say over by maybe 3 or 4 games. I don't think they'll eclipse 30. I think they might get maybe just under or at 30. We'll see. It's going to be so hard to get like 34 wins, 35 wins in that such a tough conference. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I might take over by a little bit. All right, Suns are set at 27. That's probably just about right to me. Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton are getting a new coach, so hopefully they can. This new coaching staff hopefully can get the best out of their guys, especially Ayton, because he was underutilized last year. And I know they hated Igor, Suns fans did for not using him enough. But they got Monty Williams now, and he was an assistant with Philly, so hopefully he can utilize his guys correctly. And they also got Kelly Oubre Jr., so they're a nice young team. But again, they play in such a tough Western Conference. I think that's probably just about right. Maybe even tiny bit under. What do you think?
Yeah, it's either dead on or under. I can't see them winning over 27, just like it says. But if they win 30 games, I'll be generous.
Oh yeah, for sure. So Knicks, they're also set at 27. That's probably fine. Maybe a little bit under.
Yeah.
Kevin Knox is going to have another year. They got R.J. Barrett. They got some young guys I actually like on that team.
Randle.
Julius Randle, they actually made some decent signings on guys who are on one-year deals, so that money's going to be off the books potentially next season because they all have like team options. So they'll still have cap space next year. But yeah, they did get Randle. They drafted R.J. Barrett. They got Kevin Knox. They got Mitchell Robinson. They got Dennis Smith Jr. They have an interesting, youngish roster. But that's probably about right. 27, I would say.
Right.
I don't think they'll get over 30.
Yeah, I can't see them getting over 30 either.
Yeah. So the Wizards are set at 28.5. I don't know. I don't think Bradley Beal is going to be there for too much longer unless he accepts that extension. But I think they need to just move on. But they're also banking on John Wall coming back the same. And once he comes back, they're going to be good. But I don't know, man. 28.5, that might be a little high. Especially because John Wall is going to miss the whole season. Bradley Beal's great, though. He needs to be playing for a contending team, not a tanking team.
We talked so much about the teams he would fit with, and then nothing really happened to him.
Yeah. I think he wants to be there, which is weird.
And that's just, what is it, Stockholm Syndrome?
Yeah, I guess so.
You're an abusive person, you stay with him anyways.
Right, yeah. But yeah, that's probably I might take under. I don't know. That seems disrespectful. I don't know. What do you think? Over or under 28?
It's under.
You think so too? Okay.
Oh.
So
Bradley Beal will do his absolute best, but it won't be enough.
Yeah. So here's where things are starting to get a little more interesting. We're getting into the playoff contending teams now. The Bulls are set at 30.5. I'm going to say over. The addition of Kobe White, probably going to earn the starting point guard spot over Chris Dunn. Then you got Zach LaVine, who looks like an all-star in the making. Lauri Markkanen also looks like an all-star in the making. Otto Porter Jr. is nice. Wendell Carter Jr. is nice. But last year they had so many injuries. Like, I know Wendell Carter Jr. was injured. Lauri Markkanen missed a good portion of the season. Zach LaVine's health has sort of been shaky for the past couple of years. But it looks like he had a healthy season for the most part last year. So it looks like he's going to be trending forward as far as injuries are concerned, hopefully. Or I guess backwards, whichever one means you're not going to be injured as much. But they have a nice young core and a young team that I think is really going to fit well together moving forward. So I'm going to say they might win closer to 34, 35 games this year and kind of be also in the hunt along with the Hawks for, one of those 7 or 8 spots.
Right. It'll definitely be that like 30 to 35 range. Bulls.
Yeah. If they can stay healthy, that is.
I'm excited to see Kobe.
Yeah, me too.
See all that hair flopping around.
The fro.
I really hope he doesn't cut it. I really hope he keeps that.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't become Elfrid Payton pre-haircut hair, then it's fine. But yeah, I'm excited to see him play. I think he might be a little bit underrated. But we'll see how he is. Can't expect too much from him though, because he plays with other good pieces around him. So it's not like he's gonna have a, all-star point guard type of year. But he should be a good contributor for them. Thunder are set at 31. That seems fine to me.
It seems
especially
fine.
If they don't move Chris Paul. They actually have a somewhat decent competitive team. Especially with Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chris Paul, Steven Adams. They traded Jeremy Grant, but they still have Ferguson. So they're going to be a competitive team, but not a team that's going to make the playoffs. So I'd say that's probably about right.
Exciting games that
Yeah,
Have to
those.
watch it.
Yeah.
I don't think CP3 is completely out of gas just yet.
No, I don't think so either. I think I don't know. He just has to stay healthy, and then he'll be fine. Like he'll still be great, but it's health plays such a major role in the NBA. Like concerning your payday and your on-court performance. So, and a guy like him, like those impact guys who also put up great stats, like pretty much any good player in the NBA.
Right.
You're such a valuable piece to your team that if you're not healthy, then you're not gonna help your team or help them accomplish anything. We saw that with Chris Paul in the case with the Rockets in the Western Finals and semis in the past couple of years. But he was healthy last year in the playoffs, and they still couldn't beat Golden State without KD for a game, the only game necessary. Anyway, I digress. The Timberwolves are set at 35. I think that's a little bit high, honestly. I think that's slightly high.
Yeah, it's a little high. I don't know. Timberwolves didn't really make any moves this offseason. I can't remember.
Yeah, I do really like Cat though, and they did get Jarrett Culver in the draft. So I mean, they've got a nice, decent young core. It's just Andrew Wiggins needs to be moved, unless he can show some more consistency this year. So,
right.
But I wouldn't say under by much, but maybe a little bit, or maybe it's right on. Definitely not over. What do you think?
I don't know.
35
I think
wins.
it's right on. I think that's pretty accurate. I couldn't see them winning any more, any less.
Yeah. So let's move on. The Hawks are set at 36. That's probably just about right to me. They're going to take a step forward with the Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter, and second year of Trae Young, third year of John Collins, and second year of Kevin Huerter. They're going to take a step forward towards becoming a good team, learning how to win, take a step forward towards playoff contention. But they're going to be fighting for that 7 or 8 spot, I think. But I feel like there's going to be some close games that they lose that they had, and those would have been big wins needed to make the playoffs. So I don't think they're quite there yet, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do make it, because Trae Young is so special. Offensively, it's
the supporting cast that he has.
Yeah, like he's got weapons around him. Like it wouldn't surprise me if he averages like 23 and 10 next year, and is an all-star. And it wouldn't surprise me if they make the playoffs either, because John Collins is a walking 20 and 10. We don't know what Reddish and Hunter are going to be yet, but Kevin Huerter is capable of averaging 10, 15 points on excellent shooting. So they're going to be nice next year, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. The hope is you're hoping for over 40, but 36 seems like a nice number. And like you said, it's an improvement. Yeah,
for sure. Kings are set at 37. They're also going to be fighting for that 8th spot in the West. They might get to 40, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So I'm going to take the over here, but I don't know if 40 wins is going to cut it in that West, in that loaded West.
No.
But they're definitely a team. They're definitely a team on the rise, and once those top teams in the West start to kind of fall off via players exiting their prime, they're definitely going to be a good team in the future with De'Aaron Fox at the helm. And I like Buddy Hield a lot too, even though he's like 26 years old. He's still going to be nice for the next 7, 8 years, maybe 10. Who knows? Well, not 10 years. 36 is old, but he's going to be a nice player for the next however many years. I mean, he's an excellent shooter, great offensive player. He's, I like him a lot. And De'Aaron Fox is set for a second-year breakout as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he averages like 20 and 9 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And he's a great defender too, so that always helps your case. Pistons are set at 37.5. That seems fine to me.
Yeah, it just seems fine.
If Blake Griffin can stay healthy, they'll win more. But I don't know. They're kind of stuck in mediocrity, and that seems about right. Just my opinion, though. Pelicans are set at 39. That seems fine. Maybe a little under because they're going to have to be able to develop that chemistry. They could get to 40. But 39 seems just about right. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think that 8
Right.
seed is
They're
going to
not
go to
gonna
a
click
more
right away,
seasoned
and they're
team.
not going-
Yeah.
It's not going to be super competitive right away. It'll be a lot of growing
They have,
pains.
but they have a great young core, just like we mentioned with previous teams. I mean, that we mentioned, and I don't know. They're going to be good. They're going to be a highly competitive team, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, to win those necessary games to make the playoffs. Like those spots are going to go to the more seasoned teams and better teams. You know what I mean? Magic are set at 40.5. That seems about right to me.
Yeah, that's fine. I have no opinion on the Magic.
I don't either. To me, they're just so uninteresting and are just stuck right in the middle.
Right. They're stuck being like, being terrible, then there's being stuck at mediocrity, and that's kind of what the Magic.
Yeah, they're teetering on mediocrity and good, I guess. I don't know. They're just they're just so in the middle that it's almost like I don't want to offend any Magic fans, but they're just very uninteresting to me. Like they got Mo Bamba, who didn't really pan out last year because of injuries. He's got plenty of time to do so, but they kept Vucevic, who's a nice player. They got Aaron Gordon, and they got Isaac Bonga and whatever. But outside of that, it's just like not interesting to me. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I can't. Even as a Magic fan, I can't imagine myself like, yeah, let's watch the Magic. Like, there's not really progression. It just seems so stagnant.
Yeah, there's not like any flashy players on the team. Like Aaron Gordon's gonna be nice. I just don't think it's gonna be with the Magic. Like, he just doesn't. I feel like he would be better and get more exposure and just playing on a better team. You know what I mean? Like, not to say the Magic. Like, they're just stuck right in the middle. Like, they're just okay. I don't really see them going up from here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like other teams seem to be better fit for not only now but the future.
It's not even the fact that they're not good now. It's the fact that the foreseeable future doesn't even seem something to invest in. Like some of these other teams with young that seem to be something
to invest in and watch. Yeah. I agree.
Don't sleep on the Magic. Yeah, I'm going to snore.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's move on though. Mavericks are set at 41. That seems about right. They're gonna have Kristaps Porzingis. Luka Doncic is gonna have another breakout year.
If anything, it's gonna be a little bit over because it could go either way. They could write it around 40.
Yeah.
Or they could, have great games. Like you said, I feel like the Mavericks have the ability with super close games to win those.
Mm-hmm. Especially with Luka, because he's clutch as hell.
He really is. He really is.
And he's just a great playmaker, too. So.
Excited to see that. You talk about Spurs?
Yeah, I got one more thing on the Mavericks, though. If Porzingis comes back to being himself after the torn ACL that he suffered, they should be fighting for playoff positioning. But again, I think it's going to go to a more seasoned team, and by seasoned team I mean the Spurs. I mean, when's the last time they missed the playoffs, despite being counted out and all that? But yeah, we can yeah, for real. But yeah, we can move on to the Spurs. So they're set at 43.5. That seems about right to me.
Yeah, again, it's kind of a little above the middle. I mean,
yeah, they're not stuck in mediocrity, but they're not gonna be better than these other teams ahead of them.
Right.
So I don't know. I think DeRozan is gonna leave. I don't know where to. I'd like to see him reunite with Kyle Lowry, but I don't think he would go back to the Raptors.
Right, especially after they just dished him out.
Yeah,
a player that only stayed for a year.
Exactly. I don't know. I'd like to go see him play for another contending team, though, that isn't the Spurs. He's so overshadowed there. Like, we used to talk about him all the time when he played for Toronto, and then everybody forgot about him. But, the Spurs are always going to be
into more of a
low-key situation in a system, yeah. That's why I think he'd be better elsewhere. But apparently they're going to give him a max extension or something like that.
I don't know.
I wouldn't take that if I were him. I wouldn't want to play
not that
there.
he doesn't deserve it. It's just the fact that I wouldn't take it.
I would want to play in a bigger market personally and play for a team with a better chance at a title. Like if I'm any Western Conference player who is an all-star or above, I'm going to the Eastern Conference. That's just what I'm doing.
Right.
just because there's more teams there that are. Well, no, that's not even true. I was gonna say there's more contenders. That's not even true. There's not as much in your way. Like there's good teams in the East, but there's not as many teams in the East as there are in the West that are like juggernauts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there's plenty of good teams in the East, and I would want to go play for one of them and help them take the next step into legitimate contention. But yeah, you know how that goes. So you got anything else for the Spurs?
Nope.
They're just kind of stuck in the middle too right now. But let's go to the Heat, 43.5. That's a little high in my opinion.
Yeah, they should be amongst like where the Pelicans and Pistons are, around the 38 to 39 range.
I agree with that. Maybe 40. Maybe 41. But their roster just, I mean, they did get Jimmy Butler, and they have Justice Winslow, and they got Bam Adebayo, and they lost Richardson to Philly when they did the sign and trade for Jimmy Butler. But I don't know. I just don't think they're quite like they'll probably make the playoffs. I think probably as like the 6th seed, maybe 7. But it wouldn't like completely shock me if they got knocked out by the Bulls or the Hawks. That might sound crazy to say, but I would not sleep on those teams.
Yeah,
especially if they stay healthy. I hope people aren't going to flame me for that, but that's just my opinion. I mean, the Heat are a nice team though, but again, they're just stuck in the middle right now. And Jimmy Butler to me can't be the best player on a championship team. Like he's just not that guy. Like he can be a key contributor and one of the best players on a championship team, but he can't be the superstar best player on a championship team. That's just not who he is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Wait, I accidentally cut you off though. What were you gonna say?
No, that thought's already long gone.
Okay. All right. So Raptors are set at 45. Might be a little disrespectful, but I would say they're probably more in the 47, 48, maybe even 49, 50 range.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Because they've been one of the best regular season teams for the past couple of years now, and they just won a championship.
It's not going to be like LeBron, where once he leaves, that one superstar leaves, they're just going to completely crumble.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. They were a good team, before Kawhi Leonard. They were 17-5 without him in the regular season, which again just goes to show you they're a great regular season team. And people are saying they're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. Which is ridiculous. Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. You don't even have to worry about that. I'm interested to see how Pascal Siakam plays as the number 1 scoring option, though. See if he can turn into that all-star that he has the potential to be. I mean, he was the second best player on a championship team last year, so I have no doubt in my mind he can do it. I'm excited to see it. What were you going to say?
Nah, I wasn't.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I would say they'll probably win more than 45 games. What about you?
I think it'll be like somewhere around.
Somewhere around what?
48 to 50 win.
Yeah, I agree. Next up is the Warriors, who are. This is so disrespectful. 47. I'm gonna take the over by 6. They're gonna win.
KD is good. He's not so good that once he leaves, he drops the Warriors. That it's not.
Yeah.
People are underestimating, Steph, Clay, Draymond, and even Coach Kerr, and
not to mention D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, and I even forgot about that. D'Angelo. I mean,
they're gonna win 50-something games. I guarantee it. Put it on wax right now. They're gonna win 50-something games.
Absolutely.
Steph Curry as the number 1 scorer, primary ball handler guy. We saw what he's capable of doing when he's that guy, and he's going to be an MVP candidate next year, assuming he stays healthy. So
it's definitely going to be a prove yourself year for Steph.
I don't think he has anything left to prove, honestly.
Not that you have anything left to prove, but I'm saying like
it's gonna be a remember. Do you mean like a remember me type season?
Right. Like,
yeah.
Hey, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like just because KD left doesn't mean they're not a threat.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have a historic season, and like I said earlier, I think they could still make it to the Western Finals.
Absolutely.
Especially if the LA teams meet each other before the Western Finals, which could happen because the standings are going to be so close that like you're going to have to win about 50 games to make the playoffs in the West or somewhere around there, very high 40s. But the standings are going to be so tight for the most part. You know, it's going to come down to the final week of the season to see where everybody's slotted. It's been that way the past 2 years, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on, though. The Nets are at 47. That seems
what
fine.
Do you think?
That might even be a little high. Actually,
that's what I was thinking.
But not by much. They'll probably be yeah, that's what I was going to say. 44, 46, maybe 47 range. But when Kevin Durant comes back, they're going to be like 60.
Right.
Assuming he's the same Kevin Durant at least. But they have a really nice young team on top of Kyrie Irving. I just hope it's not the same result that happened when Kyrie went to a team with a nice young core, like we saw with Boston. I don't know if that sentence made sense. It did in my head. But we saw what happened when he went to a similar scenario. Not by choice, though. He was traded there. It just didn't work out because, like Marcus Smart said, everybody couldn't be themselves. They were trying to be they were trying to go against what they were, which is a big reason it didn't work out. And no one on the Celtics is blaming Kyrie. Like, they were all part of the problem. And they were all trying to, prove themselves or whatever because contracts.
Right. There's a lot of dysfunction.
Yeah, exactly. But hopefully that's not the same type of thing we see with the Nets because there's young, talented guys who were in the playoffs last year who are going to have to, sacrifice some, and Kyrie's going to have to sacrifice some for them, but mainly them for him. So, I don't know. It seems about right to me. They're going to make the playoffs, obviously. They could even win a first-round series depending who they play. I don't think they'd beat Milwaukee or Philly. I don't even know if they'd beat the Celtics. So we'll see what happens, though.
That would be fun. What do you think the reception will be once Kyrie comes back to Boston Garden?
He is going to be booed louder. Like, he is going to be booed louder than anybody will be booed all season. Like, he's going to have the worst
into the ether.
He's going to have the worst homecoming. Not even homecoming. He's going to returning to your old team that you left, whether it was via free agency or, well, really that's the only reason you'd boo somebody is if they left in free agency. But yeah, out of all those, he's going to, or force your way out of a team rather. Like, which is basically leaving a team in free agency.
Bro, the RRs are gonna fly.
Oh man, you're gonna hear some racist things. Like if you're at the Garden for Kyrie's return, you're gonna hear some unbelievable shit being said. Some just absolutely horrid, unacceptable things being said. And like the boos for him are going to be louder than they're going to be for Anthony Davis when he comes back to New Orleans. They're going to be louder than when Kristaps Porzingis comes back to New York.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's going to have the worst reception that we've seen in a while. Just because of the way he seemed to quit on his team, even though that's not really what happened. But after he filmed the commercial in the Garden, right, saying he wants to have his number retired there. Dude, he's such a troll that he picked number 11. That's so funny to me.
Dude, he picked number 11 and then at the press conference, he's like, because I want to be the last one to wear it.
Yeah,
like,
that's...
Nobody laughed. He was like, come on, I had to.
They laughed a little bit after he kind of chuckled.
It was like nervous laughing.
Yeah, but that's so funny to me, man. Because we know Cantor's never going to get his jersey retired. He just did it for the joke. But no, I love it. But anyway, back to the Nets. Yeah, they're gonna be a good team. That 47 seems right. So let's move on. The Trailblazers are set at 47.5. Honestly, I'm gonna take the over on this one.
The Trailblazers are gonna have a big boost this season.
Well, the past couple of years they've been at the top of the conference. They're a great regular season team. They proved in the playoffs last year that they've learned from past mistakes and they've gotten better, and they have the experience now to win. and they made some good additions, some good moves, drafted well. So I think they're gonna win about 50 games, maybe 51. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say around that range. There's only like very few standings like with this, an over/under chart that I either really disagree with or really agree with. I mean, Blazers seem to be about at the right place for me.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. I wouldn't take the under. I'd say it's either
under.
right there.
I'd say it's either dead on at like 47 or
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And plus, we were just talking before we started the podcast that Damian Lillard, in most people's eyes, has elevated himself to superstar status, which I think he's a superstar, and he's in a lot of people's eyes the second best point guard in the NBA right now, which I would agree with as well.
Absolutely.
I was telling you, 2 or 3 years ago we were talking about how he was the most underrated player in the NBA, and then he's made himself mainstream via great regular season stats, leading his team to wins and playoffs and then playoff failure ultimately led to his name being talked about, and then playoff success led to his name being resurrected after the sweep against the Pelicans. So he's that sweep in 2018, as much as it hurt then, was actually a blessing in disguise because it got his name out there even more, and then people were interested to see how he would bounce back, and of course he did. So via that and playoff success and great leadership and leading his team to wins and all that stuff, being the best player on his team, elevated himself to superstar status. So now he's mainstream, and it's just funny how that changed after only a couple of years ago we were saying how he was the most slept on player in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just funny how stuff changes. But let's move on here. The Pacers are set at 48.5. Assuming Victor Oladipo comes back relatively quickly from his knee injury and is healthy, they've got a nice team. They should definitely be, top 5, 6 seed. Yeah. They're going to be really good, I think. They're going to be a team that people don't want to see in the playoffs, assuming Oladipo's healthy. 48.5 sounds about right to me. Maybe a little over.
Yeah.
Maybe closer to 50.
Nothing to really argue or talk there.
Yeah.
I just agree.
Yeah. Celtics are set at 49.5. That's, again, probably about right. They're going to be about middle of the pack defensively, but offensively they're going to be excellent.
Right. Especially if they put Cantor out there for a while.
Yeah, if he's a starting center, which he probably will be. 49.5, 50, 51-ish, around that range. I'd take the over by a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. If Kemba, if there's such a drastic change of of how good he can be because of a supporting cast.
Man, he's got weapons now. He's got other good to great players around him now. Finally, for the first time in his career, so he's gonna have a career year, and he's gonna potentially elevate himself to superstar status. I mean,
I think he's already there, but
I don't think he's there yet, just because he hasn't had the success in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and he hasn't. He's only been there once.
I think so. Yeah.
And so now that he finally has a good team around him, and they have a lot of national TV exposure, I think this is going to be so beneficial to him and the Celtics. I'm just so excited for this. But yeah, he's a top tier guard for sure. Lakers are set at 51.5. That's perfectly fine to me.
Right. It's just, I feel it's accurate. Ron should have a huge comeback year.
Yeah, he's going to have a great season. Anthony Davis is going to have a great season. And they actually built a pretty good roster around them for the most part. We've already talked about it before.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when they were trying to... Well, I knew that was a long shot.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him going to the Lakers.
I couldn't either, but he said he almost went there.
Imagine blue balling Lakers fans that hard. They're like, I almost went.
Yeah, really. I read something from Chris Haynes that said it wasn't a Chris Haynes tweet, but somebody said it was via Chris Haynes, one of those NBA report pages on Twitter or whatever, said that if he hadn't, if the Clippers hadn't traded for Paul George, he would have signed with the Lakers. Which I hope that's cap.
I hope that's cabbage.
Yeah, But yeah, I mean these top teams in the West are probably all going to be set around, between 50 and 55 wins. No one's going to win 60 games in the West, and maybe not even in the East. I don't think there's going to be a 60-win teams this year.
Period.
But yeah, so these top 4 or 5 teams in the West are all going to have super tight records. So yeah, I'd say that's just about right. Rockets are set at 52, and the Nuggets are set at 52. I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. Rockets are set at 52.
No, you're good. Cause
yeah, Rockets. I hope
hour 30.
Yeah. Yeah, the both of those seem fine to me. The Rockets got better with trading for Russell Westbrook, I think. It just depends how this works with 2 very ball-dominant guys who are both MVPs. Have been this close to getting to the finals / winning a championship. I mean, Russ has been to the finals, but they played the Heat in 2012, and that was when he was still, young, with a young KD as well. But they've both been this close to, getting over that hump. So hopefully playing together can give them their best shot at doing that over the next, 3, 4, 5 years. But we'll see. But yeah, 52 seems about right to me. They're one of the best regular season teams. So it's just a matter of how him and Harden play together. Westbrook and Harden play together. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just going to depend on how they work out these 2 ball-dominant players and if they can coexist.
Yeah, but these are 2 such great players. It's hard for me to see it not working out. But then again, they've both been the guy with the ball in his hands majority of the time for the past couple of years now. It's going to be quite the adjustment, and sacrifices are going to have to be made,
Absolutely.
But and they're friends. Like James Harden and Chris Paul weren't really friends, it didn't seem like. But now that Russ and Harden are playing together, they've been wanting to play together. I like it. And they've played together in the past, but now. Yeah, actually, I do. I think he's going to replace Chris Paul on the State Farm thing. Well, Chris Paul actually has a deal with State Farm, so I think those will just stop completely. Actually, I don't know. Who knows? It's not going to be James Harden and Chris Paul though together. I tell you that. Unless they somehow work it in as some little rivalry thing between like Chris and his agent and James Harden and his agent or something.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, I know. All right, so Nuggets are set at 52. I'd say that's just about right as well. They drafted Bol. Michael Porter Jr.'s, hopefully, if he can stay healthy, is going to play. Obviously, another season of Jokic, who's going to be an MVP candidate. Jamal Murray's only going to get better. Gary Harris, Monte Morris. They've just got a lot of nice. Paul Millsap. They got a lot of nice players on that team, and that's going to translate to regular season success. But the thing is all of these teams have potential to be upset in the playoffs. So
any team has that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All these teams, So we'll see. But yeah, that 52 win seems about right to me. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, the Nuggets were amazing last season. Jokic had a year. He was. Yeah. It's so funny because you just watch him move, watch him play, and you wouldn't think he's an absolute beast on the court, but he is.
It's just it's weird to see. Yeah, I mean he's one of the best centers in the NBA. I'd say second best behind Joel Embiid right now.
Yeah.
I don't count AD as a center.
Needs some work, but other than that, he's something else. He is so fun.
Yeah, I agree. And, he's gotten better defensively, too. So, that's big. But, yeah, the Jazz are slated to win 52.5 games. I'm going to take the over on this, actually. I think they'll win 54, maybe even 55.
I can see it. I mean, see that
they're excellent. They're coached exceptionally. They've got a lot of great talent. They got Mike Conley to play next to Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They got Bojan Bogdanovic. They stole him from the Pacers. And they're like decently deep too, and they're great defensively. And this is going to open up the floodgates for Donovan Mitchell. And he's going to take another leap. And he might have a Derrick Rose type year where he is one of the youngest players to win MVP. Like I think to me he's a dark horse MVP candidate. Especially if the Jazz are at the top of the conference as the 2-3 seed. and has another excellent year and takes another leap, I think he has the potential to win MVP in his third season.
Absolutely.
He's a dark horse candidate. A lot of these guys are actually candidates for MVP. You know, obviously Russell Harden, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Nikola Jokic, you know, Kawhi. All these guys have the potential to do it. So it'll be interesting to see who does. Anything else on the Jazz, though?
No, not that I can think of. Just I know it'll be such a fun team to watch. And
yeah, I can't wait to watch them.
Those stadiums are going to be loud.
Oh man, they have such a great home court, and I just hope they don't play the Warriors in the first round. Because this is a championship contending team, and again, like I said, these teams have potential to be upset depending who they play in the first round. So 76ers are at 54.5. I'm going to put them a little bit over.
Okay.
I'd probably say 55, 56. They're going to be the first or second best team in the East and one of the best teams in the league, obviously. And they're my pick to get to the finals, actually, from the East.
Okay.
I think they'll be slightly better than Milwaukee.
I don't know about that.
I just think they took steps in the right direction, assuming Al Horford fits well. Their depth is sus, but that's the advantage the Bucks have. But I think the Bucks I think they stayed about the same. So it's going to be, I think the East Finals is going to be Bucks and Clippers, or I'm sorry, Bucks and Sixers. I don't know, man. It depends on the leap Ben Simmons takes, and obviously Joel Embiid's health. It depends on a lot of things, but it's going to come down to those two. And before I say definitively who's my pick, I take that back. Who's going to come out of the East to go to the finals? I got to see how they're playing then and there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. But what were you going to say?
None.
Oh, okay. Do you over or under 54.5?
I'd say that's solid standards for that. Maybe a little bit less, like a little bit, but not much.
Okay. So the Clippers are at 55.5. I think they're going to be the number one seed in the West. Again, I don't think players are going to rest as much this year because it's going to be super important where you're seated. So hopefully Kawhi and PG play, 65, 70 games this year. I mean, obviously they're going to miss games here and there for this and that, and maybe a few games for rest, but it's going to be important to play because where you are slotted in the playoffs matters, especially with all these good teams. So I'm going to take the over, though. I think they'll probably, or maybe that's spot on because they're in a stacked West. I'd say that's just about right, 55, 56. What do you think?
Again, it's like you said with the 76ers, just like I'd have to see it in action because we've never seen Paul George play together.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention they have Lou Will and Montrezl Harrell and I'm drawing a blank here. I'm tripping right now. Hold on. Who are they? What's their starting lineup going to look like? I mean, they're going to start Pat Bev. Paul George will probably play the 2. Kawhi at the 3. I think they'd have to start Harrell, right? Or Zubac.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then who would their starting 4 be? I'm drawing a blank right now. It would have been Gallinari, but he was traded.
Right. I don't know.
Hold on 1 second. I need to do an emergency Google search here. This is embarrassing. Hold on.
No, dude, it's a lot.
It is. They still have Landry Shamet on here as if he's still... Oh, yeah, he's there. I thought he got traded for some reason. He got traded from Philly last year.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought they traded. Okay, so yeah, they'll have Pat Bev, Landry Shamet, Kawhi, Paul George, and Zubac as their starting 5. And then obviously they'll have Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell off the bench. Like, they're going to be probably one of the best teams in the West. Well, obviously. I think they will be the best team in the West, actually. That's just my opinion, though. All right, let's. What are you taking? Did you say over or under 55?
I don't think I said. Let me.
I'd say that's about right.
Yeah, I can't say it's
because it's going to be so hard to win 58
teams,
games in the West. And
it could be, these top like 6 to 8 teams could fluctuate from
exactly
52 to 60. You don't know.
Exactly. The standings are going to be so close. Yeah, it's been that way the past few years. It's come down to the final few days or weeks of the regular season to figure out, who's going to be in what seed. And then there's so many different scenarios depending on who wins and loses in those last couple of days. It's ridiculous. Because I remember there was like 20 possible scenarios last year.
Yeah, it makes it exciting.
It is for sure. All right, last team is the Bucks. They're at 57. I'd say that's just about right. They won 60 games last year. They stayed about the same. Other teams got better, made moves. I don't think they'll win 60 again, but I think they'll be, high 50s. Maybe closer to 55 or 56, but they'll definitely be up there. So I'd say it's just about right. What about you?
Yeah, I think Bucks have huge potential to be. Put it on wax and say I'm thinking they're finals next year, even with Clippers being such a big threat.
Wait, did you say getting to the finals or winning the finals?
Winning the finals.
Oh, are we putting that on wax?
I'm putting that on wax, bro.
All right, you heard it here. Seth says the Bucks are going to win the finals. All right.
I just can't see it not panning out that way after the MVP season.
Yeah, he's going to take another jump too, Giannis.
And they seem to get better each season.
Yeah, and they got a lot of quality pieces around him too. So, it could happen. I'm not. It's not crazy to say, but I don't think they would beat the Clippers.
I think they would.
All right. Well, I guess time will tell, right?
Right.
All right. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Comment, let us know what you think about anything we talked about. Subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.